What's going on, guys? PvpTwitch here, bringing my first guide on my YouTube page about Junkrat. A little bit about myself. I played on Xbox all 3 seasons. I hit top 20 SR with Junkrat as my main hero. I came to PC a couple weeks ago. I was told I wouldn't be able to hit Grandmaster, but I ended up pushing 4100 rating, and I look to make that climb even further, even though I've dropped down a little bit. But there's still plenty of time left in the season. Anyways, if you want to find any other information about me, you can click on my Twitch link here or my YouTube link here, and let's get this guide going. Let's talk a little bit about why I like Junkrat, and that's because of the insane amount of burst damage he has. He can two-shot squishy heroes, which is basically all DPS and all supports. He can do this in multiple ways. A few of the ways are he can hit someone with a trap and a grenade, because a trap does 80 damage and his grenade direct hit does another 120 damage, which is 200 total. He can also do grenade plus concussion. Concussion does 120 and grenade does 120 direct, so that's 240. So even if they get healed, or if someone has more than 200 health, then it can kill them. Or he can just do 2 direct hits, or he can do the classic trap plus concussion. Now I want to talk a little bit about Junkrat's strengths and weaknesses. On icyveins.com, so if you guys want to check out this little guide they have here, it's just basic information, but a rundown of their strengths is obviously he can provide high sustained damage from relative safety because he's a range hero with projectiles. This is actually really helpful because he can shoot over things and his grenades can bounce off walls. He has high mobility because of his concussion grenade. He can use that for vertical movement or blasting himself away from things. Also, he's effective at holding choke points because of his splash damage and relatively short cooldowns and traps. And he has a very distracting Riptire, which lasts for 10 seconds, which I'll get into that more later on in the guide. His weaknesses: for survivability, because he only has 200 health, and after his concussion is used, he has no other mobility. Very exposed and wide in open spaces because of his projectile-based shots. He doesn't have as reliable damage, and his lack of HP and mobility makes him easy to die to like Soldier 76 or McCree, stuff like that in open areas. So you just got to be aware of positioning when you're playing Junkrat. And lastly, his weakness is has trouble dealing damage at long range and specific enemies. His his top 2 counters are Pharah and Widow, in my opinion, because you cannot kill Widow if she's too far away. She just shoots you. You have to always be aware of her positioning. You can't really do much about her. Even if you go up to challenge her, she can just quick scope you and shoot you in the head, you know what I mean? Or she can grapple away. Obviously you can kill Widow, but generally it's not ideal. Same with Pharah. She can stay in flight 24/7. She never has to hit the ground, and she has basically the same abilities as Junkrat. She can concussion herself away, and she has splash damage from her rockets. And it's not a fight you're generally supposed to win. So now that we're a little bit further in the video, I want to go through a quick rundown of his abilities and really what Junkrat's all about. He's a projectile hero. If you don't know what that means when he shoots something, it doesn't go there instantly. It arcs. You know, you have to try and predict. Basically, if you want to become a good Junkrat, you have to make predictions, and you got to get rewarded for those predictions you make. Some people like to call it luck, but you need to increase your odds by making predictions. So, anyways, on the aiming side, you want to predict where people are moving, like that. I predicted that this person was here and he was walking this way. A bot is obviously going to be walking that direction, and I hit him relatively easily. But sometimes you'll see heroes that are moving back and forth. There's a doorway there. You don't know if they're going to go there. You don't know if they're going to jump backwards. You don't know if they're going to stay where they're at. You need to pay attention to the general fight and what you think's happening. If this is an Anna right here and you think she's going to run away, I suspect that she's going to run through the doorway. So instead of shooting at her, I will spam this choke, and if she doesn't go there, I will throw my concussion right here. So furthermore about grenades, you want to understand how to use your auto attack. there's a couple different ways that you want to use Junkrat, and there's what I like to call them is there's trash damage, which you don't want to do. That's basically when you already have your ult, it's at 100%, and you're just doing this, you know, you're just shooting randomly. You're not trying to kill anything, you're just hitting the enemy. All you're doing is feeding the enemy ults, or the enemy supports their ults, they're healing the targets, they're getting ults. Sometimes I do this, not realizing it happens, but just don't do it, it's not good. So the other thing you can do is, it all depends on comp, but generally most people use Reinhardt, but you can do this thing I like to call a shield game. That's where you're shooting straight into the Reinhardt shield, and you're trying to break the shield so your team can push through. When I'm playing Junkrat, I like to vocalize this with my team. Say there's a soldier 76 grouped up with me. We're going to focus the shield, and then we're going to push through after that. Then there's also targeting the supports in the back line. Let's say this right here, this bar is a Reinhardt. Instead of shooting at the shield, I'm shooting off the wall in the back to hit their supports. They're say that's a support right there. So I'm shooting over the shield, off the wall, trying to hit the support. Or if I'm farther back, I'm shooting over the shield, etc. to try and hit the back line. Use your concussion as often as possible. Hit them in the back. If you can get them weak, they can get picked. You can apply pressure on their tanks. Alright, so now that we talked about grenades, let's talk about concussion a little bit. So as I said before, concussion grenade is Junkrat's only mobility skill. So after this is gone, you can't move anymore. You're just dead, you know, you're just moving around like this. This is not helpful. So what I like to do almost every single time is, if I'm going to use concussion, I'm going to hit the enemy and myself at the same time like this. That way he gets hurt, he gets booped away, and I get booped away whatever direction I want to go. That way I'm doing damage, and I'm also keeping myself alive. But you know, it's situational. If you know you're for sure in a safe spot, then you can throw your concussion like that and hit the enemy target, even though I missed. But you understand what I'm trying to do. Alright, so now let's talk about trap. If you guys notice, I have a trap set right here. And my trap is also on cooldown. I could still use it. It's not on cooldown. So I can throw another trap right here. And my cooldown is counting down. It was started at 10, is going down still. So this bot's gonna hit the trap, and my trap's on 2 seconds cooldown. He's out of it, and I can throw another one, and he's trapped again. You want to utilize your trap as often as possible because of that reason. Almost all the time, I'll be throwing traps in different spots that I think people are moving, in doorways, behind Reinhardts, because they have to back up. If I say Reinhardt's trapped, then it makes it so my Reinhardt on my team can charge into him easily, etc, etc. Alright, so now that we talked about all the abilities, we can talk about Riptire. Before I use the ability, I want to break it down into 2 different things that I like to use Riptire for. There's one where I use it to get a kill feed, like try and kill as many people as possible. And what I would do for this is, say this is the enemy team, they're in this circle right here, and my team is fighting over here or something, and I want to try and get as close as possible so I can use my Riptire immediately, come around the corner and blow it up immediately before they have a chance to blow it up. It's really good to do this from high up positions. Like, say you're up there, you use the tire, go straight down and blow it up as soon as possible. Or say you're flanking and you go around a corner. The other way you want to do this is, say you are defending on Hollywood first point, and the enemy team is trying to take the point, but there's only 10 seconds left. So what you want to do is you want to use your Riptire and run it into a wall for about 5 seconds and tell your team to go to the point and focus anyone on the point. The other team is scared shitless. They're like, there's a Riptire, I don't know where it's at. They're all backing up, they're trying to fight your teammates at the same time. Meanwhile, you're just running it into a wall, looking around corner, trying to know when to use it. And about 4 or 5 seconds left, that's when you want to go. Drive around the corner and blow anyone up that's in the cap. Well, there's only 2 seconds left in the game, and you probably got 3 kills because they're forced to stay in the cap. Now let's talk about the maps a little bit. The first set of maps are the assault maps: Hanamura, Temple of Anubis, and Voskhaya Industries. Junkrat, in my opinion, is insane on Hanamura and Temple of Anubis. The reason he's so good is because the first point has a really, really good choke point, and for both maps. And their Temple of Anubis is an extremely small area. This is easily his best map. Hanamura, he does so much damage at the choke point, and he can spawn kill people through that area. And if you have someone counter an enemy Pharah, if they try to switch that on defense, then you're chilling. Also, because of these choke points, it also makes him very good on offense. He can throw concussion grenades over enemy Reinhardts. He can lob grenades over tanks to hit the back line. It's just really good for both of these maps. Yep, Voskaya Industries, it's not so good. On defense, there's a really high ceiling with an open area, so he gets countered easily by ranged heroes that go up top. And Pharah Mercy, if they decide to pick that on offense, if you're trying to defend with Junkrat, he can still do okay, but this is just one of the maps that he struggles on. The next set of maps are Dorado, Route 66, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. In my opinion, Junkrat on escort maps is absolutely insane on all three maps on offense and defense. Escort maps are amazing because Junkrat has a spot where he can always target people to kill. That's on the payload. If you're on offense, you can use the payload for cover as you're moving through. There's also plenty of vertical spots on Dorado and Gibraltar, and even on Route 66 that he can move up to get riptire kills, create pressure. There's choke points on the first point of Dorado and the third point of Dorado. On Gibraltar, there's a lot of choke points throughout the first 2 points. He excels really well on escort maps for offense and defense. The next set of maps are hybrid maps. In my opinion, hybrid maps are also actually insane for Junkrat because they have the mixture of the assault maps that he's really good at for choke points, and also escort maps, so it gives him something to focus on throughout escort maps. Junkrat, if you get a Junkrat on your team and it's offense, don't complain because it's really, really good. Eichenwald, insane. On defense, the first choke point is crazy. On the second point, there's vertical spots that he can go to and shoot down from above. On the third point, it's a really, really small area like Temple of Anubis, and he excels at that a lot. On offense, same situation. On Hollywood, on the first point, traps do work. You can put traps in their doorways that they run back from the spawn. You have vertical positioning that you can get to on all 3 points. Riptires are great. It's just really, really good. Kingdro, exact situation. Vertical spots. You can lob grenades over tanks, utilize traps on flanks. It's really good. And Dambani is the exact same thing. Junkrat excels extremely well on hybrid maps. So control maps. These are the set of maps that Junkrat doesn't excel at as much as he can on the other maps. The reason being is because fights are not always centralized. Junkrat does extremely well when fights are centralized, where tanks are in the front, supports are behind them, etc., etc. On these maps, fights can often get hectic. People are all over the place. You can get flanked easily, and it's just not as good. You can't utilize your abilities to its full potential compared to every other map. But that doesn't mean he's bad. For example, Lijiang Tower, there's a bunch of choke points you can use. Ilios, there's a bunch of trap spots you can use. Nepal, there's vertical positioning where you can get great spots and do flanking riptires. On Oasis, there's a ton of choke points, ton of positioning spots that you can get into. I would say that his worst map in the entire game is the Oasis map where it has the jumping pad. That map is extremely terrible because people have constant vertical mobility even if they don't have vertical mobility because of the jump pad. It's really open spaced and it's just not that great. So that was just my brief rundown of the different maps. Obviously I didn't go into too much of detail about them all, but I just want to let you guys know that I'll be releasing future videos that break down. It's going to be gameplay, full gameplay clips reviewed by myself of each map, and I'll go through in depth of each play I make, and you guys will get a better generalization of how Junkrat does on each map, offense and defense. So make sure you guys subscribe, and I look forward to that. Now I want to talk a little bit about Junkrat's primary counters. His 3 primary counters, in my opinion, are Pharah, Zarya, and Widowmaker. The reason being is because Pharah can stay in the sky, and Junkrat is a projectile hero, so he can't really hit her. Zarya because she gets charged by Junkrat's explosive damage, and Widowmaker because she can stay at max range and one-shot Junkrat by just hitting him in the head. His other soft counters, in my opinion, are Tracer and also Diva. The reason I say soft counters is because Tracer she is so low HP, all you have to do is hit her once and she stops shooting at you. And also you can use your traps in small corridors to counter her. D.Va, you can use your traps to counter her. The reason she soft counters is because she has defense matrix and she can completely nullify your damage. But in my opinion, her mech is not strong enough to be able to really hardcore counter you. And also with the new buff coming to Junkrat where his grenades will no longer do damage, well, his explosives will no longer do damage to him, you can simply face tank D.Va and take no damage and her mech will die before it really bothers you. So let's get down to the hardcore counters. When you have a Widow on the other team, you just need to really worry about the positioning of the Widow. Do not let her kill you, because you just constantly just need to worry about where she is, because she can shoot you in the head and you're dead. That's just it. Zarya, what I like to do against Zarya is call out every single bubble she uses, so you know what bubble she has on cooldown and you know who you can shoot. If she uses self bubble, that means she has no bubble and you can shoot at her. If she gives away a bubble to someone, then you know who has it, shoot at someone else in the meantime, and then when it runs down, you can go back to shooting the person that she bubbled. You need to pay attention to her bubbles. Do not let her stay full charged. And if she is full charged, she needs to die, and you need to let your team know that we need to kill the Zarya. For Pharah, Pharah is the biggest counter to Junkrat because you cannot shoot her down in the sky. In order to shoot her down in the sky, you need to get relatively lucky to hit her twice with grenades, or hit her with a grenade and then concussion her to finish her off. A good Pharah is going to kill Junkrat 95% of the time, so don't try and be stubborn and say that you're the best Junkrat in the world. Yes, obviously you can kill some Pharahs, but Pharah has a hardcore advantage over Junkrat. In my opinion, if the other team has a Pharah and a Mercy combined, it is way smarter to just not be stubborn and switch off Junkrat for another hero if your team is losing, because it's just not ideal to play against Pharah Mercy. Again, you can still beat Pharah Mercy with Junkrat, but if your team is struggling, it may be because the hit scan in your team isn't able to kill the Pharah, so you might want to switch off to another hit scan or a hero that's not terrible versus Pharah to help your team out. You don't need to be stubborn in Overwatch. It's a game of counters. So a quick breakdown of team compositions that work with Junkrat. Overall, I would suggest that you don't make Junkrat the primary damage source. I would recommend you always have a second DPS or another hero that can get kills. For that second finisher, you want someone that can finish off the mass amount of damage that you're doing to them. So picks like Soldier 76 that has really good initial burst damage, Tracer that can flank and finish kills, McCree that can hit people and finish them, Pharah that has explosive damage and crazy mobility. Heroes like that, Genji especially because he can dash through people and then reset his dash. All these heroes are good to combo with Junkrat because they finish off the damage that you're doing. If you're doing damage and nothing is happening, you're just feeding the enemy support ults and it's not helping. That's why I don't like having Junkrat as the only DPS. On the tank side, you really want a Reinhardt on every single 2-point map and every single payload map, for defense that is. It's so good to have a Reinhardt because it gives you an extra wall to stand behind, and also it's another distraction for the enemy team, so you're not left alone as Junkrat. Reinhardt makes it so your team is more centralized, and it also forces the other team to be a little bit more centralized, and Junkrat excels when you force the other team to centralize. He's really bad when you're playing against teams that are completely separated, like if the enemy team has a Widowmaker, a Pharah, a Winston, a D.Va, a Lucio, and a Mercy. Like, what are you supposed to do against that? You can't just 1v1 every single player on their team as a Junkrat. There's way better ideal picks. I mean, obviously you can, but there's way more ideal picks for doing that. For supports, almost always have a Lucio. The movement speed and the AoE healing is extremely helpful with Junkrat. For the second healer, right now it's almost Ana every single time because her heals are just so OP, but the best support to combo with Junkrat is Mercy because the damage boost is insane, and also the Resurrect is pretty clutch too because you are going to be dying more often than many of the other heroes while you're playing Junkrat. I would say the worst hero to combo with Junkrat is Symmetra with solo heal, and also Zenyatta because Junkrat and Zenyatta are both extremely vulnerable. Zenyatta has absolutely no self heal and no other than her regeneration on her shields, and no mobility. Junkrat has no mobility once he uses his concussion, and it's just not good to pair up these targets. He's also not extremely reliable when it comes to killing Discord targets. It's overall just better to use a Mercy. For the so for the solo heal aspect, as I said, Symmetra with the solo heal, it's just not ideal because you're not going to be getting healed as often with one heal, and it's just better to do a 2 healer comp with Junkrat. So basically, I like 2-2-2 with Junkrat, but it's situational. So back to tanks. When you're playing, say a 2 CP map where you're attacking, I actually really like Winston and Zarya with Junkrat, or Winston and D.Va, like a dive comp style with a tracer, because when Winston jumps in, Junkrat can heavily support him with grenades and concussion. Junkrat does an insane amount of damage in small areas, so when Winston jumps in and he gets targeted, Junkrat can utilize that because it centralizes the enemy in one location, and he can do a lot of burst damage. So that was the first part of the guide. I just talked about Junkrat, his abilities, pros, cons, counters, etc. For the rest of the video, I'm going to use examples from actual gameplay and analyze them with in-depth details of each play and talk about how I implemented everything that I mentioned before. So right here, I want to show you guys an example of spawn killing with Mercy on defense of Hollywood. I have my trap set on the right door along with my concussion grenade, and I'm positioning myself in the doorway right here.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Double.
No. Killed the Barret and Zarya, and I'm already at 51% to my ult. So that's the power of spawn trapping with Junkrat. Wow. So for this next segment, I want to talk a little bit about positioning. Positioning is pretty complex, and it all varies per map. But I'll just do a little example here of what I have on defense Hollywood. And what you notice here is I'm on the doorway, there's a health pack behind me, it points to the right, their team's over here, and you see their enemy Reinhardt is here. So they're pushing through this way and going that way. Also, I have a trap set by the car. So if I press play, I'm being uncontested over here. I'm unable to be sniped by any of their players. They actually had a Widowmaker on their team, so I was unable to be sniped by their Widow. But I was still able to create pressure by moving out a little bit and shooting into the choke point. But in this case, they're moving up top, so I'm aware of that. And I'm pre-firing grenades into the doorway by the entrance that they're going to be walking through. So I'm getting.
You guys can heal off health packs.
I'm getting a bunch of hits here, and I see their Anna's by herself there, so I might be able to finish her. They're weak up top. Their entire team is extremely weak. I just hit them with a bunch of nades. They use Zarya ult and Hanzo ult.
I got my ult and back to spawn.
You got the Widow?
And I acknowledge that they did that, and they're pushing in. So I used a counter ult, a counter Junkrat ult. And I'm bringing it up top. Got them, and I killed their Mercy. I would have got someone else, but I think their Sombra killed the Widow at the same time or something. But I killed the Mercy. That was all their squishies were up here, which is why I brought the Riptire up here. I also forced the Anna down below, so that did two things. It stopped their res. Also, their Anna is no longer healing the rest of their team, which is positioned in the point, because she had to run from my Riptire. So I disrupted their offensive ults with a counter Junkrat ult. Mercy, I got Mercy.
Get on.
Unfortunately, I died, but as you can see, Hanzo's one shot on payload. Later on in the video, we still had teleport. So my whole team was able to flood in through the back.
There's always one.
Hanzo got me behind.
And I finished up the Anna that I was shooting at. Also, I put a trap down, got the Hanzo. And now we're cleaning up their team, and they only walked away with one tick. So now there's 15 seconds left, and we're just trying to get cleanup kills.
Yes, I'm not there for heals. I'm here.
Acknowledging that I just got hit, I'm down to 80 health, and they had a Widowmaker positioned over here again. And we also had a Sombra on our team, which I didn't really realize until now. But, I mean, now, as in the game when I moved in the room. I'm positioning myself in a new choke point right here, so I can no longer get sniped, but I can still create pressure by shooting and bouncing grenades off the wall. And there's only 10 seconds left, so they're forced to come to the point anyways. On Junkrat, it's also really good to position yourself near health packs, because you have such low survivability and you're not always able to get insta-healed, that it's good to stand near a health pack. We have a hacked health pack on the left. You guys can get
They don't get on point.
So you can see here that I'm positioned in a really good spot. The Widow can't snipe me, that's standing on the left, and the Reinhardt's holding shield in the front, so I have nothing to really worry about.
I'm gonna sleep if he gets on.
I'm just trying to create pressure because it's overtime. Their D.Va tried to get in, and Ana sniped him, and we walked away
Nice.
with the win.
Good, hammer down.
So every map is a little bit different, and if you guys subscribe to my channel, I'm going to be doing reviews on every other map in the game in full detail. So I'll try and go over positioning and one more example. Here I'm going to show you guys an example of the 10-second riptire technique that I have. If you notice here, this is on the third point of Nambani payload, and there's only 7.9 seconds left, and I'm at 88% to my ult. So as you'll see here in the video, they're all around the payload. Winston bubble. I'm just trying to farm my ult here. I threw a trap here because they have to contest the payload, so it's really likely that someone's gonna hit that trap. I'm at 92% to my ult. Kills, dude. So the Winston runs into my trap while he's ulted, so he's nullified. Reinhardt's ulted here, running at me, and I'm at 98% to my ult. Trapped him. I start shooting him back because it pushes him back. He can't catch up to me to hit me. I get my ult and use my ult when it's in overtime. We already have 2 of them dead. Their Mercy is also dead. So I take my tire here. Guys, I'm just running my tire into a wall. I just told my team that I'm running my tire into a wall and all of them should get on point. This does 2 things. It forces the enemy to pay attention to my team if everyone's pushing in, and it also allows me to pull in my rip tire in through the backside and go in unnoticed, or relatively unnoticed.
On me. Alright.
So they were all here, 3 of them, the soldier and the Genji that I killed, and also the Winston. They were all facing forward where my team was, and the soldier actually just popped his ult. I came in and I brought my tire in through the backside unnoticed, and I killed both of them. And the Winston was the only one left. And we ended up winning the game.
Good game, guys.
So in that situation, we were already ahead numbers, and our spawn was here. So we were probably already going to win no matter what, even if I didn't get a kill on my tire or whatever. But that's just an example to show you guys of the technique that you can use, and it could really make games winnable if you use that technique. And another thing I wanted to point out is, if I bring it back here to when I use my tire. Point, guys, I'm just running. Pay attention to how loud my tire is. You hear how loud this is? They know where it's coming from. So get on point, guys. I'm just running my tire into a wall. Now listen to how quiet it is.
On me.
When you run your tire into a wall, it reduces the sound. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say it's over 50%, and people don't know where it's at. So if you're running it into a wall, they can't hear it. They don't know where it's at. So it really helps for the juking people out, so they can't predict where your rip tire is coming from. But yeah, that's my example of the 10-second rip tire technique. So this is going to be another example of how I used Junkrat's rip tire to its full potential by flanking with it. I like to do this play on Reinhardt as well, but I positioned myself up top, and I asked my team when they're coming, and I used it, and I killed both of their soldier and their Ana with just 1 rip tire. And if you also noticed, I finished up the kill on the Roadhog. So although I think my Reinhardt on my team used an ult too, 1 ultimate killed 2 of their players and also got the Roadhog killed. So my rip tire that I can get in about a minute completely nullified their entire attack by itself. Alright guys, so now I want to just give a little example of something that happened on my other account that's diamond rank. This isn't the highest rating, but it's still a solid video that I can prove a little bit of what I was talking about before. So let's start the video off. I start off using a rip tire, relatively short distance, go right around the corner and blow it up right away. I get 3 kills,
By the way, guys,
and I push in just to finish
I'm
people up.
streaming rank 1 Junkrat if you wanna.
If you saw here, I threw my concussion grenade at the Reinhardt.
By the way, guys,
That booped him up in the air, so it left him so he couldn't get away, and the Roadhog finished him off. So what I did here
I'm streaming.
was I threw a trap. If you noticed, you'll see here in a second, I threw a trap in that walkway behind the van because I know that's a high frequency walkway of people with low HP. I'm just shooting around trying to finish people up. The Genji hits the trap, I see that he's reflecting, I wait till it's over, and I finish him off. So what happens here is I throw another trap right here, and that's just, I'm just tossing it. Maybe the Reinhardt will hit it, something will happen, who knows. So what ended up happening is I'm just shooting Reinhardt's shield. Our Roadhog chain pulls the Zarya, she tries to back up, She hits my trap.
He's almost dead. He's in
We
my
end
trap.
up finishing her off, and I get booped towards their team by the Pharah that's somewhere over here, I believe. So instead of backing up, I have 75 HP. I didn't want to back up to my team, so I move into the room over here because I know there's a health pack.
I got the Zen.
Luckily, I killed the Zen. I hit her twice, and I have 15 HP. So I'm still in this room. I want to grab the health pack.
Bro, you're dead.
I grab the health pack, and I'm behind the Reinhardt. He can't really do much because he needs to hold his shield because my Roadhog is still standing there. If he drops his shield, he's going to die. So I kind of utilize this moment. I'm shooting him, trying to make stuff happen. I just, hit him with some splash damage, concussion. It really wasn't necessary, but I did it anyways. So I go back in this room. I get a lucky kill on a Pharah, but you could say luck or prediction. I predicted there would be a low HP hero there. Low HP as in a hero that is 200 HP or lower. So I could hit them, and I got the Pharah. So I'm like, okay, the Reinhardt's not challenging me. I'm here free. I'm behind their team. I can do another Riptire. So I do a Riptire, and luckily, they popped Res at the perfect time. So I bring it in, and I kill all 3 of them as the Reinhardt also drops his shield, so he dies too. And it's not over yet. So there's a Pharah left. I'm just shooting random shots to try and get her, but I know for sure that when I shoot right here, it can bounce off this wall and bounce grenades back this way. So I saw the Pharah was going this way, so I tried to do that, try and hit her in midair. Again, you could say luck or prediction. I predicted that this would possibly hit her in midair, and it was worth trying. So I shoot those grenades, and if you see her here, one of them ends up hitting her. So she died. And that's the clip. So basically all the stuff that I was having a rundown on before, you apply it in the game like this. So I'm going to try and find another example of another game I was in. So for the rest of the guide, I want to talk about this game I had here. It was about 3,950 to 70 rating. And the enemy team actually had a Pharah Mercy comp. This is defense after we already pushed it 3 points on offense.
Okay.
This was actually the same game where I had the spawn trap
Fire you self up.
video you guys saw
Pharah
earlier in the
versus,
video.
up
They
top.
have mercy.
Yeah, they're
Fair
fair.
also.
So this is their first push in, and you see here the Pharah Mercy was positioned here, and I was behind our Reinhardt in the back. I saw an opportunity to push forward, and I noticed
Might be able to pick those Zen.
I noticed that their Mercy was trying to fly back as well as their Pharah.
I got the Mercy.
So I shot the Mercy and killed her.
There's one.
Pharah tried challenging us at half health, and she got punished for it. Now we're just cleaning up the team.
I'm asleep.
I skip a little bit ahead here. I set a trap on the left to try and get. It's still there.
I'm gonna
To try and get a
little room on the
flankers.
left, so
Go on the flanker. I don't believe anyone runs into
But you
that.
drop in. I
I
can't.
hit her once.
So their supports were separated after we created so much pressure, so I tried to pick them. I noticed that their Hanzo shot an ult through to our team.
They're
So
using
I'm gonna
Dragon,
use
using Riptire.
I'm gonna use a counter Riptire because I know that they're gonna try and push in with that Hanzo ult. So I saw that the Zarya ran into my trap right here, but she also bubbled, so I drove into this room and waited for her bubble to go down. She ended up getting away, but I ended up killing the Hanzo with it. So that
Okay.
basically traded ults, and I got a kill, and it nullifies their push because I counter ulted the Hanzo pick.
No, I pop bubble.
Unfortunately, the Hanzo did get a scatter shot on our Ana, so they continue to push in. The Pharah's pushing me back in this room.
Shield down.
And this is another example of the positioning I talked about earlier on Hollywood. I'm positioned in this room. The Pharah's unable to kill me, even though she's a direct counter. I have a health pack behind me if I need it. My team's pushing them back. I let a shot in and finished off their Reinhardt. And that's gonna completely end their attack, and I know it. So I'm overextending a little bit.
Nearly there.
Oh, Pharah's so low.
Again, setting a trap on a flank spot.
Hanzo's into that room.
This does two things. I could potentially get a kill, but even if I don't get a kill, it tells me that they're coming in that direction if they kill my trap, because they have to destroy my trap to get through that doorway.
Hanzo is still one on the right.
This grenade spot off that back wall is really good for hitting backline. This, I'm just doing random grenades to try and hit the Pharah.
Started about half. Hanzo on the right.
Hanzo's
So they killed the trap,
I'm dead.
so I rethrew another one.
So he's top.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, we lost the person,
right.
so it's
Over the back.
5v6.
Pharah's an ult. Pharah's an ult.
They're doing Pharah Zarya combo,
I hit her once.
but our Mercy's already for it, and she already rezzed.
There's the
We finished off their
Zarya's
Pharah.
on me. They res.
They just did res. I got their Mercy one shot.
I'm sleeping. I'm dead.
Pharah's dead again.
They popped a nano boost and their Reinhardt charged in.
I'm gonna whole hog.
I'm kind of trapped in this room. I saw an opportunity. Their Reinhardt was in my trap. I figured I could position myself here and use a Riptire to push in with our Roadhog that's pushed in, because that's their squishies in the cap and their Reinhardt's here. Unfortunately, as soon as I used the Riptire, he hit me with a Fire Strike and finished me off at 97, and my Riptire went down at 97%.
He hit me with a fire strike.
So they got that
bottom,
point.
Right or left, my bad.
I'm repositioning myself. I saw their Hanzo was overextended.
Bottom,
Made the call out on him, and he ends up getting picked. He's dead.
I headshot him. Good kill.
So right now, our Ana and me are positioned up top, and our Reinhardt is down below. He just hit a big hammer down, so I'm about to push in.
Oh shit, I missed the...
I'm pushing in to try and finish up some kills on that hammer down. Unfortunately, they backed up, so I see an opportunity to throw a trap in, but the Hanzo scared me for scatter shot, and then the Reinhardt ended up pushing me into the scatter shot. So I died.
Oh my god.
But I got rezzed, and I used Riptire, and ended up getting killed, and then I got spawn killed by the Ana and the
I'm
Pharah.
stunned.
I got so fucking trapped. So that was not so good, but it's okay. We forced
right
res
hand
out of them, and they were pushed so far back on the payload that they have to push it all the way through second point, and we have time to regroup.
Yeah, I don't know where you're
Because we contested them so early.
Right here. Our hog's
My
low.
bad, team. My bad.
So I'm going up top because I know their team is overextended. They're not even on the payload right now. I assume I could hit a flank, but unfortunately I wasn't aware of the Roadhog in here. So when I came in here, he started shooting me along with the Pharah that came behind. Pharah's one shot in that room. So I got punished for that. There you go.
Good kill.
One six behind us.
Watch Pharah, guys.
Ryan's low,
My team was able to hold down the payload.
Hanzo above.
Roadhog on
As
payload.
the Roadhog is pushing
Oh
in,
shit, he went at me.
I'm able to punish him because he's by himself. He should not have done that.
I tried to get that
I tried to lead
Mercy.
shots in
Mercy's
here
still on
to
top.
kill the
Still
Mercy
up
as she
there.
flew to the Pharah, but I missed.
No.
They told me that Hanzo's up top, so I'm trying to push up top and
Hanzo's
challenge
one shot up
Hanzo.
top.
Pharah's up there
Pharah's
as
about to
well.
hit me.
I know she's not going to be able to hit me enough, so I just, keep poking damage up top, trying to kill the
Hanzo's one shot again,
Hanzo.
bro.
Nano.
Hanzo's one again.
Not one anymore, he's dead.
Our Pharah was able to finish him off, but she traded. So I'm constantly going up
You
top
have res.
with my concussion to try and contest that Pharah, because I don't want them to have that
Focus inside the house.
top position.
To the right. He's gonna hit me.
Oh, Mercy's low.
I got Mercy, guys.
I ended up killing Mercy in the background with my last couple shots, and
Roadhog's
I got the
going for it.
hog trapped
Roadhog's
over
one.
in the corner.
Good kill.
I just need to juke his hook real
Hog
quick,
behind, hog behind.
and he ends up getting away though.
Pharah's across.
It's okay though. I see that the Pharah is here, and there's only 10 seconds left, so I ult her. Even if she would have killed me, it would have been completely fine because I was able to kill
Hanzo
her.
in the back, he's half. Nice.
I trapped her.
So the game's over. They weren't anywhere near the
Good
payload.
game, guys. Good game.
We won the game.
Well played.
Now I'm gonna go into the offensive of the same map. So this is the offensive attack of the same map, the same game that we just
Sorry,
watched for
Ryan.
defense. Sorry, you self bubble. Or no, she gave bubble to Ryan.
That jump. That was a good one. Pharah's up top. Our soldier.
Right now I'm trying to
soldier.
shoot their soldier in the
Soldier
back.
once, he's
If
weak.
I can hit him once and our
Self-heal.
Pharah can tag him,
He's
then he's dead.
healing.
There's no point in playing shield game because we have a Winston.
Already pushed him.
So I'm just trying to put pressure on their soldier so our
I have
Pharah is
50
able to
health,
do
right,
more.
I can't go in.
Yeah, he's like cool down on my shield.
I'm discorded. Hold on.
So we position around the left side because we have a health pack here, and also going through the middle is not very good when we don't have a Reinhardt. Again, I'm just trying to put pressure on the soldier so our Pharah is able to do more.
Oh, they have a turret, dude.
Zen's one.
I realized they had a turret on the
turret,
left,
dude.
so I went ahead and took care of that.
Turret's down.
Now I'm trying to
Okay,
shoot
no,
the
they
shield
have
because he's
Sorry,
backing up and his
I'm
shield
on
is
the
weak.
soldier.
So I'm pressuring the soldier again
I'm trying
because
to
he ended up
help
getting
you,
a pick on our
soldier's dead.
Ana, and the Pharah and I gangbanged him and killed him. So now our Pharah has a Mercy pocketing him with absolutely no counter on their team to pressure him.
Oh, turret's on the side. I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
I'm just pressuring turret again.
They're fighting me in the
I
staircase?
see their Ana's trapped in the corner there.
Oh, I didn't realize which one.
Got toward. Ryan and Zarya on point.
The reason I went into that room is because that health pack is there. I got hit by a Reinhardt swing, but I picked up health pack, so I'm still at 100 health.
I'm sleeping.
I was able to get out of there alive, but that
Trying to
charge
help
by
you.
the Reinhardt really made the
Shit.
play really scattered.
I'm dead on point. You guys pushing.
I rested.
We ended up killing
Zarya
Reinhardt,
got bubbled,
but I wasn't able to stop the soldier from
We should
hitting
use
me
nano
because he
boost.
got bubbled.
We should use nano boost.
It's okay, because our team made ults and ended up taking the point.
That's ours now.
Across someone.
We're
good.
So as we push into the second point of Hollywood, I'm making
So
grenades
Rage
up
up
top
top.
so our Pharah has less pressure on him. I know that he
Drop
said there
down.
was a Zarya up there, so we forced her off ours and we got high ground.
I'm gonna push.
I'm on the
That's the advantage of having Junkrat with vertical
Soldier
mobility.
dead.
Good pick, dude. Oh, they have. So again, our Pharah is here. Turret's down there on the right, and
Torb
we
go.
have high ground. So
Help
we're
me
gonna
kill
we're gonna take care of the turret
Turret's down.
and push the Torb down. Why is he
slow.
playing
It's
Torb
a grab
versus
stick.
Junkrat and Pharah? I'm just trying to create
Oh,
pressure by hitting
Scout's
nades,
already
and I
top.
noticed that they use Transcendence. So I see an opportunity to use Riptire.
is anti.
And then Reinhardt's in the
I'm gonna
front.
die.
As I used Riptire, I was able to push back into a third person and see over the wall before I went down. And I see they had an Ana, Torb turret, and Zarya here. So I dropped down on top of them. I killed the Ana and the Torb and the turret, and the Zarya is down to 5% health.
Nice tire.
And since the payload was already pushed halfway through the second point, we're able to get this cap.
It's down cart.
Soldier's overextended and ended up finishing him. Now, as soon as I kill him, I acknowledge that they're going to be coming through this doorway, so I start spamming grenades immediately into that doorway.
Kills, good kills.
This stops them from contesting the point and forces them to back up. Also, I threw a trap. So for some reason, they used Nano Boost and they gave it to someone trying to get into the point to contest, and he ran straight into my trap.
I shot them.
He wouldn't have made it anyways, but if he was in a position where he could have made it, he would not have made it because of my trap.
They might be slightly triggered.
Your shield's down.
So
Back up, Ryan.
now they start popping
We're
ults
pushing.
and they wiped us up for a
Attacks.
few pushes.
I can't help you.
Get a drop.
So it is anti.
I hit the Widow. I
But-
hit the Widow.
We pushed them back,
Then back.
and now we're pushing up on the payload.
I hit the Ana. Ana's one shot.
This
There
grenade.
was like a one.
I'm
Put
trying to
pressure
trap
on the
Ryan
Ana.
for you, bro.
And that forced her to back up.
God.
And I ended up dying, but it's
Who doesn't
alright
top?
because they forced
I'm
Transcendence.
taking damage.
So in the spawn, my team's still fighting. I wanted to, use my ult and create pressure against the other team so they would stop pressuring my team. And I ended up just killing the Reinhardt that probably would have died anyways, but it
Zen,
killed him
double Zen.
sooner, so we're
Yeah,
able to
good
push
picks,
the
we're good
payload.
picks. Go for a good shatter here.
So now they're completely
Zarya's
staggered.
in front of Zarya. I'm killing her bubble.
We're pushing the payload to the third point. Zarya had to use ult because she was about to die, and no one else was there to combo. The soldier was vastly overextended. He's not anywhere near the team. I have the Ana cornered over here. I ended up finishing the kill on her. I see the Widow. I wait to shoot and kill her. And then I boop the Reinhardt off the payload.
He's
and
off
that's
payload.
game.
He's off payload.
He's dead.
Alright, never use shatter.
Nice.
So that was my overall Junkrat video. Sorry for the semi-low quality. I'm not really great at editing. That's my first YouTube video, but I tried to get the overall concept and ideologies behind how I play Junkrat with examples to provide, visual experience there. If you guys don't mind checking out my Twitch stream, I really put a lot of effort into my Twitch stream. Just give me a follow. I don't only play Junkrat, I play a lot of other heroes too. But yeah, I appreciate you guys checking out the video, and look forward to my future videos. I plan on making complete analyses of every single map playing Junkrat on offense and defense, like full uploads. And also, I'm going to be uploading a tips and tricks video along with where I stand when I use my spawn kill traps. So yeah, appreciate you guys watching, and see you guys on my Twitch channel.